December 7th, 1941, 7:45 a.m., Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. In 3 minutes, 183 Japanese aircraft will appear over that mountain. 43 Mitsubishi Zeros, the most feared fighter in the Pacific. 51 Aichi dive bombers. 40 Nakajima torpedo bombers. 49 high-altitude bombers. Their mission: destroy the United States Pacific Fleet. In 90 minutes, they will kill 2,403 Americans. But sitting on that runway at Wheeler Field is something they've never imagined. 1 F-22 Raptor, 1 pilot, 8 missiles, 480 rounds, and 3 minutes to get airborne. In real history, the attack was a complete surprise. No warning, no fighter scrambled, no defense. But in our timeline, one thing is different. At 7:45 a.m., a radar operator at Opana Point detects something 137 miles north. In real history, his warning was ignored. They thought it was B-17 bombers arriving from California. But in our timeline, someone believes him. And at Wheeler Field, a pilot sprints across the tarmac toward an aircraft that shouldn't exist. The F-22 Raptor, armed, fueled, ready. The pilot has 3 minutes to take off before the first Japanese aircraft appear. 3 minutes to save Pearl Harbor. 3 minutes to face 183 enemy aircraft, alone. This is the story of the most one-sided air battle that never happened. Let's understand what the Japanese were attempting. 6 aircraft carriers, 230 miles north of Oahu. They'd sailed in complete radio silence for 12 days. At 6:00 a.m., they launched the first wave. First wave composition, total 183 aircraft. 43 Mitsubishi A6M0 fighters, air superiority. 49 Nakajima B-5N bombers, high-altitude bombing. 51 Aichi D-3A dive bombers, precision strikes. 40 Nakajima B-5N torpedo bombers, ship killers. Commander, Mitsuo Fuchida, leading from a bomber. Target, Battleship Row. 8 battleships anchored in a neat line. The Japanese knew exactly where every American ship was parked. They had photographs, intelligence, months of planning. At 7:40 a.m., Fuchida could see the island. No alarm, no fighters in the sky. He transmitted, Tora, 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 Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. The code for complete surprise achieved. What did America have to defend Pearl Harbor? Aircraft. At Wheeler Field, Hickam Field, Bellows Field. 231 Army aircraft total on Oahu. Most were P-40 Warhawks and P-36 Hawks. All parked, wingtip to wingtip, on the ground. Why? To protect against sabotage. Military commanders were more worried about local Japanese saboteurs than an air attack. So, they grouped all the planes together. Easy to guard. Also easy to destroy. Combat air patrol. Fighters on alert, ready to scramble. 0. Pilots in their cockpits, ready to launch. 0. It was Sunday morning. Peacetime routine. Minimal readiness. The tragic irony. At 7:02 a.m., the Opana Point radar station detected a large formation 137 miles out. Private Joseph Lockhart reported it to Fort Shafter. The officer on duty told him, "Don't worry about it. It's probably B-17s from the mainland." That officer was Lieutenant Kermit Tyler. He made the most tragic mistake in American military history. Those weren't B-17s. They were 183 Japanese aircraft, and they were 46 minutes away. At 7:48 a.m., the first Japanese dive bombers appeared over Wheeler Field. They strafed the parked aircraft, Bombs fell, planes exploded. Within 5 minutes, 188 American aircraft were destroyed or damaged. Most never got off the ground. The heroic few. Only 7 American pilots managed to get airborne during the attack. Second Lieutenants George Welch and Kenneth Taylor scrambled from Haliwa Field. They shot down 6 to 7 Japanese aircraft between them. They were flying P-40 Warhawks, 1940s technology versus 1940s technology. It was a fair fight, and they were heroes. But 7 American fighters couldn't stop 183 Japanese aircraft. The toll. By 10 o'clock a.m. it was over. 403 Americans killed, 1,178 wounded, 4 battleships sunk, 4 battleships damaged, 3 cruisers damaged, 188 aircraft destroyed. Japanese losses 29 aircraft, 64 personnel. It was the most successful surprise attack in naval history. But what if it hadn't been a surprise? What if one pilot in one aircraft had 3 minutes warning? 7:45 a.m., Wheeler Field, 3 minutes before the attack. A siren wails. Pilots stumble out of barracks, confused. But one pilot is already running toward the flight line. Toward an aircraft that looks like it's from another world. The F-22. It appeared overnight. No one knows how. No one knows why. But it's real. It's armed. It's fueled. And the pilot knows exactly what's about to happen. He climbs into the cockpit. Canopy closes. Engines spool up. Ground crew step back. The sound is alien. A scream instead of a roar. The mission. The pilot has one objective. Stop as many Japanese aircraft as possible. He has 6 AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles, range 100 mile. 2 AIM-9X Sidewinder missiles, range 22 mile, 480 rounds of 20mm ammunition, 2 hours of fuel against 183 Japanese aircraft, plus a second wave of 170 more aircraft arriving in 90 minutes. The math is brutal, but technology is on his side. Takeoff, 7:47 a.m. The F-22 rolls onto the runway. Throttle full, afterburners light. The roar shakes buildings. Takeoff roll, 1,500 feet. Rotation, gear up, 7:47:30 a.m. Airborne. Time to 30,000 feet, 90 seconds. The Japanese are 50 miles out, closing at 180 mm. Time until first contact, 16 minutes. Let's be absolutely clear about what we're comparing. Mitsubishi A6M0, Japan's premier fighter, the best in the Pacific in 1941. Top speed, 331 mph. Ceiling, 33,000 feet. Armament, 2 7.7mm machine guns, 2 20mm cannons. Range, 1,600 miles. Incredible for 1941. Strengths, lightweight, highly maneuverable, long range. Weaknesses, no armor, fragile, limited ammunition. F-22 Raptor, top speed, 1,500 mph, Mach 2.25, ceiling, 65,000 feet, armament, 8 missiles, Plar cannon, range, 1,800 miles, strengths, everything, weaknesses, limited ammunition. The gap, the F-22 is 4.5 times faster, flies 30,000 feet higher, can kill from 100 miles away, But here's the critical difference. Situational awareness. The Zero pilot's radar, his eyeballs. Visibility may be 10 miles on a clear day. The F-22 pilot's radar, APG-77 ASA radar, tracks 100 targets simultaneously at 125 plus miles. The F-22 pilot can see every single Japanese aircraft before they even know he exists. He has a god's eye view of the entire battlefield. The Japanese pilots, they have no idea he's coming. The F-22 pilot looks at his radar screen. 183 contacts, 40 miles north, altitude 10,000 on 15,000 feet, multiple formations. He can't shoot them all down. Not enough missiles, not enough bullets. But he doesn't need to shoot them all down. The strategy, he needs to. 1. Destroy the torpedo bombers first. They're the ship killers. 2. Break up the fighter formations, create chaos. 3. Force them to abort or scatter. 4. Buy time for other American fighters to scramble. Target, priority. Primary targets, 40 torpedo bombers, carrying Type 91 torpedoes. These are the aircraft that will sink battleships. In real history, they sank USS Oklahoma, USS West Virginia, USS California. If the F-22 pilot can destroy most of them, the capital ships survive. The approach. The pilot climbs to 35,000 feet, above the ceiling of every Japanese aircraft. Speed, 600 mph. Radar locked on the lead formation. Target selected. Lead torpedo bomber, 35 miles out. AIM 120. AMRAAM selected. Lock acquired. 7:55 a.m., 3 minutes before the historical attack. He squeezes the trigger. The first missile launches, and everything changes. 7:55 a.m. The first AIM 120 AMRAAM leaves the F-22's internal bay. Mach 4, 3,000 miles per hour. The Japanese torpedo bomber pilot sees nothing. His aircraft has no radar warning receiver. Time to impact, 38 seconds. First kill. The missile's active radar seeker locks on. Guidance fins adjust. Warhead armed. The torpedo bomber pilot sees a white streak. Then, boom! The aircraft explodes. Wings separate. Fuselage tumbles toward the ocean. 3 crew members dead instantly. The torpedo, 1,800 pounds of high explosive, falls harmlessly into the sea. Rapid fire. The F-22 pilot doesn't pause. He has a firing solution on 5 more torpedo bombers. Missile 2. Fire. Lock. Track. Impact. Kill. Missile 3. Lock. Track. Impact. Kill. Missile 4. Fire. Lock. Track. Impact. Kill. Missile 5. Lock. Track. Impact. Kill. Missile 6. Lock. Track. Impact. Kill. 6 AIM 120 missiles. 6 torpedo bombers destroyed, 90 seconds. 18 Japanese aircrew dead. 34 torpedo bombers remain. But the formation is breaking apart. Japanese reaction. Commander Fuchida's radio erupts with panicked voices. Torpedo squadron under attack. Where are the enemy fighters? I don't see anything. Where's it coming from? We're being hit by some kind of rocket. Fuchida scans the sky. He sees nothing. No American fighters, just his aircraft exploding. He makes a decision. All fighters, find and destroy the enemy aircraft. 43 Mitsubishi Zeros break formation and start searching. But they're looking for a propeller-driven fighter, a Wildcat or a P-40. They're not looking 25,000 feet above them at something moving 600 mph. 8:05 a.m. 6 AMRAAM missiles expended, 2 Sidewinders remaining. The F-22 pilot spots a tight formation of 12 Zeros. 20,000 feet, heading toward Wheeler Field. He rolls inverted and dives, speed building, 700, 800, 900 mph. The Zeros never see him coming. Sidewinder 1. The F-22 pilot pulls level, 5 miles behind the Zero formation. He selects a Sidewinder, heat-seeking, locks on the engine heat of multiple targets. Tone, solid lock, multiple targets in envelope. Fire. The missile corkscrews off the rail, chases the heat signature. The Zeros are flying close formation, perfect targets. Impact. The missile detonates between 4 Zeros. The explosion tears wings off 2 aircraft. Shrapnel shreds a 3rd. The 4th catches fire. 4 Zeros down from 1 missile. Sidewinder 2. The remaining Zeros scatter. Pilots braking hard, diving, trying to evade. But they don't know where the threat is. The F-22 pilot selects the second Sidewinder. 2 more Zeros, close together, both locked. Fire. 2 more explosions, 2 more kills. Total, missile kills, 12 aircraft, 6 torpedo bombers, 6 Zeros. Time elapsed, 10 minutes. Remaining Japanese aircraft, 171. But the psychological damage is catastrophic. 8:10 a.m. All missiles expended, time to go to guns. The M61 Vulcan cannon, 6,000 rounds per minute, 480 rounds loaded. About 5 seconds of trigger time total. The pilot has to make every burst count. Gun run 1. Target. Formation of dive bombers, 12,000 feet, heading toward Battleship Row. The F-22 dives from above. Closure rate, 600 mph. Gun sight, lead computed, target locked. Range, 2,000 feet. Trigger squeeze. Burt! The cannon roars for half a second. 50 rounds fired. 20mm high explosive incendiary rounds. 2 dive bombers shredded. Wings torn off. Fuselages split open. The bombs detonate in midair. The 3rd bomber is caught in the explosion. 3 kills, 1 burst. Gun runs 2 through 9. The F-22 pilot makes 9 more gun runs over the next 15 minutes. Each run, position above and behind. Dive, short burst, pull up, repeat, targets. 3 more dive bombers, 5 high-altitude bombers, 7 more Zeros, 2 torpedo bombers. Total gun kills, 20 aircraft. Ammunition remaining, 30 rounds, essentially empty. The Japanese response. By now, Japanese pilots have figured out there's one enemy aircraft. They've seen it, a sleek, impossibly fast machine, no propeller, moving like lightning. Zeros try to intercept, but it's hopeless. The F-22 is 300 mph faster, can turn tighter despite the speed. A Zero pilot gets a burst off. His 20mm shells pass through empty air. By the time he fires, the F-22 is already a mile away. 8:25 a.m. The F-22 is Winchester. No missiles, no bullets. But the pilot has one more job: keep the Japanese distracted. The decoy. The F-22 pilot intentionally flies low over Pearl Harbor. Speed, 500 mph. Altitude, 1,000 feet. Every Japanese fighter in the area chases him. 50+ Zeros pursuing, all firing, tracer rounds filling the sky. But the F-22 is making them waste ammunition on an impossible target. American response. By now, other American pilots have reached their aircraft. George Welch and Kenneth Taylor launch from Halewa Field. 6 more P-40s and P-36s scramble from Wheeler and Bellows. They see the Japanese fighters fixated on one mysterious aircraft. Welch radios. "What the hell is that thing?" Taylor, "I don't know. but the Japs are chasing it. Let's hit them from behind. The massacre. The Japanese Zeros are so focused on the F-22, they don't see the American fighters behind them. Welch and Taylor shoot down 6 Zeros in 3 minutes. The other American fighters account for 4 more. Attack falls apart. 8:48 a.m. Commander Fuchida makes a decision. The attack is a disaster. They've lost 42 aircraft. The formations are scattered. Many bombers jettisoned their payloads into the ocean out of fear. He orders all aircraft return to carriers. The first wave retreats. Let's compare what actually happened to our alternate timeline. Real history. December 7th, 1941. First wave results. USS Arizona sunk, 1,177 killed. USS Oklahoma capsized, 429 killed. USS West Virginia sunk, 106 killed. USS California sunk, 100 killed. USS Nevada beached, 60 killed. 3 cruisers damaged. 3 destroyers damaged. 188 aircraft destroyed. 2,103 total Americans killed. Japanese losses, 29 aircraft, 64 personnel. Alternate timeline with F-22. F-22 kills 32 aircraft, 6 Sidewinder, 20 gun. American fighters, assisted by F-22 distraction, 10 aircraft. Total Japanese losses, 42 aircraft. But more importantly, 15 torpedo bombers destroyed before reaching targets. Ship damage alternate. USS Arizona still explodes. High altitude bomber hit. Unlucky. USS Oklahoma damaged but not capsized. Only 3 torpedoes hit instead of 9. USS West Virginia, minor damage, only 1 torpedo hit. USS California, no damage, torpedo bombers destroyed. USS Nevada, slight damage, casualties alternate. Estimated deaths 1,400, 1,600. Lives saved 800, 1,000 American. 9:15 a.m. The second wave launches from the Japanese carriers. 170 aircraft. They don't know what happened to the first wave yet. At Wheeler Field, ground crews are desperately trying to rearm the F-22. But there's a problem. The missiles are complex. The ammunition is unique. 1940s ground crew can refuel it. Jet fuel basics were known. But reloading missiles designed 60 years in the future? Impossible. The F-22 sits out. The F-22 pilot watches helplessly as the second wave approaches. His aircraft, fueled but unarmed. He could fly, he could distract, but he can't shoot. The second wave hits Pearl Harbor at 8:54 a.m. Without the F-22, they cause significant damage. USS Pennsylvania damaged. USS Shaw destroyed. Several destroyers hit. But the battleships, already scattered and alert, suffer less damage than they would have. Final toll, alternate timeline. 1,600 Americans killed. Those 203 in real history. 2 battleships sunk. There's 4 in real history. 3 battleships damaged versus 4 more damaged in real history. 120 aircraft destroyed versus 188 in real history. Still a disaster, still a defeat, still brings America into the war. But 800 lives saved, 2 battleships saved. So what's the long-term impact? Japanese perspective. The Japanese lost 71 aircraft total, 42 first wave, 29 second wave. In real history, 29 aircraft. That's 42 additional aircraft, 126 additional aircrew. More importantly, they encountered a weapon they couldn't understand. Japanese intelligence reports, Americans have a rocket plane that flies faster than sound. Yamamoto's response, if they have one, they may have more. Our intelligence failed us. U.S. perspective, the attack still happens. America still enters the war. But the Pacific Fleet is less damaged. USS Oklahoma can be refloated and repaired. It wasn't in real history. USS West Virginia returns to service 6 months earlier. 800 more sailors alive to fight another day. 1942 to 1945. The war proceeds similarly. The F-22 can't fight the entire Pacific War. But at Coral Sea, Midway, Guadalcanal, the U.S. has 2 more battleships available. Small difference, but in war, small differences save lives. Estimate total lives saved by F-22 at Pearl Harbor. Downstream effects, 1,500 Americans. But let's remember something important. The real heroes of Pearl Harbor didn't have F-22s. George Welch and Kenneth Taylor. They flew P-40 Warhawks, top speed, 360 mph. They shot down 6 to 7 Japanese aircraft between them. They flew multiple sorties that day. Both wounded, both kept flying. Doris Miller, mess attendant on USS West Virginia. When his ship was torpedoed, he manned a .50 caliber machine gun. He'd never been trained on it. He shot down at least 2 Japanese aircraft before his ship sank. He was awarded the Navy Cross, the first African American to receive it. The defenders, sailors who stayed at their guns as their ships sank, pilots who flew damaged aircraft to try to defend their base, medics who pulled burned sailors from the water. They didn't need superweapons, they had courage. This thought experiment teaches us something about military technology. Lesson 1. Superior technology saves lives. 32 kills in 30 minutes. 800 lives saved. Technology matters. Lesson 2. But technology has limits. The F-22 couldn't stop the second wave. It couldn't be everywhere. It couldn't reload. One weapon, no matter how advanced, can't win a war alone. Lesson 3. The best defense is preparedness. Pearl Harbor happened because America was unprepared, not because we lacked technology. We had radar, we detected the attack, but we didn't believe it. The problem wasn't technology, the problem was complacency. Could one F-22 have stopped the Pearl Harbor attack? No, but it could have blunted it. Saved lives, changed the math. 32 kills. 800 lives saved, 2 battleships preserved. Not bad for one pilot in 30 minutes of combat. If you enjoyed this alternate history, subscribe for more what-if scenarios. Next video, what if Hitler captured a crashed F-22? Could Nazi engineers reverse engineer it? Comment below. Which Pearl Harbor defender do you think deserves more recognition? George Welch, Doris Miller, the radar operators who were ignored. Thanks for watching. And remember, technology wins battles, but courage wins wars. December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. And in our timeline, a date when one jet made a difference.